It was Christmas Eve, and Commander Nick Payne was walking towards a fancy city office block for a Christmas party. That last bit can be cut if he decides not to take part. I'm going to read his bits as well, of course. Whilst I'm here, I'm just going to make some minor edits. Okay, I'm going to carry on in a sec. The Gherkin office block stood as a almost imposing. Commander Nick walked up to the coat room desk and handed in his coat and hat to the young man there, retrieving what he needed for the night from them and pocketing them. Retrieving what he needed for the night, then retrieving what he needed from the night from it, and then pocketing them. Black trousers and shoes with colourful socks. The desk clerk, a man in his mid-30s, placed his coat and bag safely in a locker with a post-it note saying N. Payne on it. Oh, I've got to mention this. Commander Nick walked up. Okay, add that one back in a bit later, a bit earlier. Nick tipped him, then walked up. Fuck's sake. A woman in her late, smiling and attempting to match her flotation. Smiling and attempting to Oh, fuck. The party was a good one. Nick ate and drank with mellow Martha. He had been tipped off by his boss and mentor, General at present, from the England-Scottish border, who were preparing a coup on the earth. Oh, for God's sake. From the England-Scotland. Others had been tipped off as well. Oh, there's still some silly editing mistakes. The rogue group had taken up 2 lifts. Unfortunately, Nick had asthma and struggled. General presence had kept them talking in the Longitfuck. With the element of surprise, he used Venetian Aikido, a form of martial arts from the planet Venus, pinching him gently, but enough to be the force to knock him out. He fell to the ground, distracting everyone as Nick darted behind. Okay, we're going to stop that bit of the recording there, and we'll resume with suddenly. Okay, the 6 rogues continued. 3 of the agents turned their weapons on the hostage higher-ups. 3 of the agents turned their weapons on the higher-up hostages. The other 2 waved their weapons around at the back. Whilst the other two waved their weapons round at the backup. Suddenly, Nick karate chopped the female agent's gun in one hand. Fuck me. She gasped. Nick then ducked and karate chopped a female agent as part of one of Nick the arrest. Another female agent fought the last rogue raven. The two knocked out the male rogue agents whilst they were taken out by the other agent. The 2 male rogue agents who were knocked out were then taken away by the other agent. Hang on. The two knocked out male rogue agents were taken out by other agents. Oh, I know, dragged out. Her colleague was then knocked out hiding under. She was taken out, and she was then dragged out, and the last rogue male cat. She was then taken. His hesitation as the swearing that if they ever got their swearing they would get. General Presence got him a much needed drink. Good job, Agent Nick. You and your team stopped those rogue agents. Well done, he said, reminding the audience of what they had just read. And then moving on to controlling the law and all that. And then moving on to control. Control was the rule. Control was the word. Control. Control. And wanted Nick and a few others to stop him. Fortunately, they had been just in time and successfully dispatched the Rouges, and all 6 were eventually sentenced to serve 25 years in prison during their trial. And all 6 were served. Meanwhile, Nick returned to the party and was soon joined by some of his team. They celebrated merrily and had a very merry Christmas. And incidentally, a happy Christmas. A happy Christmas to all of you at home. The end. And incidentally, a happy Christmas to all of you at home. Do that one more time. And incidentally, a happy. He earned his nickname because he could snake in and out, selling drugs to kids and teens, vulnerable people, and things got worse. Selling drugs to kids, teens, and vulnerable people. And things got worse entering 2025. As things got worse entering 2025, Earth Agent Commander Nick Payne. And then you can cut that bit out if he doesn't do it. And read in his lines if placements. If he does do it, cut your bits of... cut yourself out of doing those lines. As they approached, another group of people also approached. Nick out. At the end, they shook hands and started to head off. One of her male colleagues grabbed. What game are you playing at, Snake? He asked. Those with guard. Nick and Danny darted out of the way and behind building materials. Yeah, I'll put the block. I'll put the cut there. Night of the Snake continued. On the other side, Danny kicked it down hard. On the other side of the door, he stormed in, gun out, toward the female snug. As the light from the moon showed a deep wound of her knife. Her cries were chilling. But the snake saw him coming and shot her. Who couldn't decide between the experienced agent or his lackey to shoot first? The snake then hit him with his elbow Nick grabbed a snake. Danny then got up. Yay! They stepped away and called for a cleanup crew. They stepped away and called for a cleanup crew. They stepped away and called for a Ah, good work, agents, General Presence said. Now we've dispatched the snake and his smuggling gang. Now we've dispatched the snake and a smuggling gang. That's a few less drug smugglers and one less dealer in the world. Good show. Now enjoy the rest of your night. As Lunar New Year drew to a close, Nick knew that the local aid. Fuck. He looked up. He said to them.
Now we've dispatched the snake and a smuggling gang.
Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the Nicholas Payne bonus content YouTube channel.